Hello and welcome to the University of Regina's video on how to search for courses. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into how to search for available courses using the search by term and the visual schedule builder. The detailed version of the search by term and the visual schedule builder can both be accessed from the main U of R homepage by clicking on Students and scrolling down to Search Classes and Build a Course Schedule. You can also click the Visual Schedule Builder link to be taken directly to the Visual Schedule Builder. Let's start by demonstrating the search by term. To find classes using the search by term, log into your UR self-service account. Before you can search for courses, you'll need to know within which semester you're searching for classes. Each calendar year is divided into 3 semesters. The winter semester runs from January to April, the spring-summer semester runs from May to August, and the fall semester runs from September to December. Once you've logged into your UR self-service account, select Student, then scroll down to the Registration section and select the Add or Drop Classes option and select your term from the drop-down menu. In this example, we're selecting 2026 Fall. You can narrow down your course options by subject, course number, and more. If you select a subject from the drop-down box attached to the subject field and leave all other options untouched, the search results will return every single section of that subject at every single level. If you have a specific course in mind and want to see all of your potential options for that particular course, you should enter your subject and course number and leave all other options untouched. This will result in the greatest number of potential options and provide you with your best chance at finding a section that works for your needs. In this example, we're going to type in ANTH or Anthropology as the subject and 100 as the course number, then click Search. We can now see all sections of Anthropology 100 that are being offered this semester. Each section of Anthropology has its own unique characteristics, but the content is the same in every section. Every section will cover the same general information, and fit into different programs the same way as every other Anthropology 100 section. The notable differences between the sections are the times and dates of the classes, the format of how the course will be taught, the locations, and the professors. As well, some sections may have restrictions on them. Let's review some sections together. Introduction to Anthropology is the title of this course. 30070 is the course registration number or CRN. Each individual section has its own CRN, which is how the system identifies which section you're looking at. This section is ANTH 100, Section 001, with CRN 30070. If we look at the other sections on screen, you will see that all of the sections have a different CRN and a different section number. CRNs change each term, so the CRN for Anthropology 100 Section 001 will be different in 2026 than the one in 2027. As well, each semester has different CRNs. CRNs for the winter semesters will start with a 1, spring-summer semester will start with a 2, and CRNs for the fall semester will start with a 3. You can click the title of each section to find out a little bit more in-depth information such as a course description, current enrollment levels, and more. Sections that start with a number are typically taught through the main U of R campus, like Section 001. Sections that start with a C are typically taught through Campion College, like Section C01. Those with an L are typically taught through Luther College, like L01. And those that start with an S are typically taught through the First Nations University of Canada, like Section S01. Unless there's a specific restriction on it, any student can take any section, regardless of what faculty or federated college they're registered through. Some sections are restricted to certain groups though. If you're not a part of the specific group that a restricted section applies to, you won't be able to register in that section of the course and will have to choose an alternate section or subject. In addition to courses that are taught face-to-face in a classroom, we have a variety of other course formats and modalities. Courses that say remote will be taught over Zoom. Remote courses still have scheduled meeting times, just like an in-person class would, but you'll be connecting with your instructor and classmates over Zoom instead of in person. Courses that say hybrid will have both in-person and remote sections being taught at the same time. This means some students will be joining the class in person and some students will be joining by Zoom. If you're choosing a hybrid class, make sure you're registering in the correct CRN for your preferred format. Courses that say HyFlex work similarly to hybrid, but students can choose to attend in person or remotely on a day-by-day basis. This means you might choose to attend in person on Monday, but then change to Zoom on Wednesday. Courses that are listed as online do not have scheduled class times like you would typically expect. In online courses, course content like lecture slides and videos will be posted to your courses. You'll still have to follow deadlines for things like assignments, exams, and discussion board posts, but you'll be doing the work on your own schedule for the most part. Online classes are great for students who require flexible schedules outside of typical school hours, but they also require a great deal of self-directed learning. Finding a format that works for your learning style and schedule is the key to success. You should also keep in mind that just because the day-to-day coursework is online does not guarantee that the midterms or exams will be online. Always double-check your final exam location details before committing to an online course, as you may be required to write an in-person exam in Regina at a specific date and time, even if you're taking an online course from somewhere else in the world. Once you've found a section that you think might work for you, you'll need to check for things like prerequisites and seat availability. If a course has a prerequisite, it will be listed in the course description panel and may contain one or multiple prerequisite conditions that must be met before the student can register in the course. Seat availability can be viewed from the main search results. Section 001 has a room capacity of 120, meaning there are 120 seats available in this classroom. There are actually 81 students registered, meaning there are 39 remaining available seats in this section. There are also 10 available wait list seats for this section, if all 120 seats in the classroom fill up. Section 005 has a room capacity of 35, with 22 students actually registered, and 13 remaining seats available. In this case, however, there is no wait list, so if all of the seats fill up and students want to register in this particular section, they'll need to manually check for a seat every now and then, and won't have the luxury of a waitlist notification telling them a seat is available. Once you find a section that is unrestricted, has space, and suits your needs, click the Add button on the far right to add it to your pending summary panel, then click Submit to finalize your registration. Be aware that the system will let you click Add on multiple sections and won't provide an error message until you click Submit in the summary panel, potentially registering you in the wrong section if you've selected multiples of the same course. Make sure to double-check your summary panel and ensure that you've registered in the correct section. If you need help with how to register in courses, refer to our registration overview or course ad drop videos. Remember, if you're wanting to register in multiple courses, you'll have to repeat this process several times to ensure that all of your classes work together into one cohesive schedule. If you're finding that you'd prefer a more visual layout for your schedule building needs, you can use the Visual Schedule Builder to help reduce some of the stress of building a conflict-free schedule. The Visual Schedule Builder can be found from the main U of R homepage under Students, then scrolling down to the Visual Schedule Builder. You can also find it within your UR self-service portal. The first time you access the VSB each day, you'll be prompted to sign in with your username and password. Once you log in, you'll be greeted with an action required error message if you have any holds preventing you from registration. You can still use the VSB to build a schedule even if you have holds, but you won't be able to officially register until you've addressed them. You'll start by selecting your term. In this example, we'll choose 2026 fall just like we did in the previous search by term method. You can then either enter your course or narrow your options with filters in the top left. Let's start without filters by typing in ENGL 100. Once you've selected a subject, your screen should be divided into 3 portions: left, middle, and right. The left portion shows information about the course in general. If you click on the little arrow beside the trash icon, you can expand detail and see information about all sections of this course, including a course description, available sections, and any restrictions. In the middle portion, you can see information about the specific section you're currently viewing, including course times, dates, locations, formats, and seat availability. In the right portion, you'll see a visual schedule being built for you. You can use the arrows above the middle and right portions to swap between potential schedule combinations. The best part about the VSB is that you can enter multiple subjects and it will build a visual schedule for you. If we add Math 110 and Psych 101 to our list, you can now see that there are almost 800 potential scheduling combinations with these 3 courses. It would be a lot to sort manually using the search by term, so this is where the visual schedule builder really shines. You can even narrow down your options by unchecking sections from the left portion. If we uncheck all of the restricted and online sections of Psych 101, we reduce our total number of potential schedules from almost 800 to just 250. If you find a section that you really want, you can also click on it to pin it in place while the other subjects shift around it. We can repeat this process for every course until we find a schedule or a few schedule options that make sense for our needs. You can also use the filters in the top left and top right of the screen to reduce your options further. In the top right, you can turn off the full classes and waitlist spot available options, which will remove any courses from your options that don't have seats currently available. You can also sort your options by schedule preferences, such as schedules with the most number of days off, or schedules that lean towards morning classes. In the top left, you can also narrow down your search options by institution, or location, or course format. However, the more filters you use, the fewer options you'll have, so you might end up removing all of your options if you use too many filters, resulting in no available scheduling combinations. Once you've narrowed down your options, you'll want to double-check for things like dates, times, locations, formats, restrictions, and prerequisites. For dates and times, pay attention to the length of the class and how much time you're giving yourself to get from one class to another, as well as the time and date of the final exam. While it's certainly possible to have multiple final exams on the same day, we don't recommend it if you can avoid it. You'll also want to pay attention to the linked components. Some courses have linked labs or seminars that are mandatory additional components. For the more popular classes, there may be multiple labs or seminars available for the same lecture, so make sure you're paying attention to all of the different times and dates that impact your schedule. For locations and formats, make sure you're paying attention to whether the course is taught in person, remotely by Zoom, in a hybrid or high-flex format, or purely online with no scheduled class times. Find a format that works best for your learning style. As well, if the course is being taught in person, make sure it's in a location you plan on being in. Don't sign up for a Saskatoon class if you're going to be in Regina. For restrictions and formats, pay attention to the left and middle portions of the screen. The prerequisites will usually be listed on the left and the restrictions could be listed on the left or in the middle. You can also click and drag in your schedule to add blocked personal time for things like work, volunteering, athletics, or family priorities. If you want to share your schedule with someone like your academic advisor, you can also click the share link in the bottom right of your screen, which will generate a VSB short link that you can copy and paste into an email or text document. You're able to save your potential schedules as favorites by clicking Add to Favorites in the bottom right of your screen, and will be able to access them via the hidden fourth panel by clicking on Saved on the far right of your screen. Once you've finalized a schedule that works for you, the bottom right of your screen will have a shopping cart beside a series of numbers. Each group of 5 numbers represents the CRN for each lecture, lab, or seminar that you're trying to register in. If you're trying to register in 3 classes, you should see 3 blocks of numbers. If you're trying to register in 3 classes and one of those has a lab, you should see 4 blocks of numbers. Follow the steps in the box below the shopping cart to finalize your registration. If you need information about making changes to your registration, please watch our video on how to add and drop courses. Thanks for watching our video on searching for courses. You should now have the knowledge and resources you require in order to search for the courses that best suit your needs. If you still have questions, connect with an academic advisor through your federated college, your faculty, or the Student Success Center, and we'd be happy to assist you further.